Okay, so this is a quick look at Dungeons 3, and this is the hardest possible mode, and yeah, I've got hold of it now, and I've really designed a beautiful dungeon. Not a perfect dungeon, a beautiful dungeon. So what can we talk about? We can talk about the overland map. In the overland map there is various pools of evil I've got to go rescue on. There's my hero, max level, dark elf mage. She's got to go and liberate this. Look at the fluffy bunnies. Magic pool.
Ouch! Ouch!
Oh, that was a heal, wasn't it?
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Right, so that's turning it all evil, and so that's keeping my evil meter up. There's a fort here which I could kill, but that would end the game, and I'm just prolonging it. Hitting spacebar, we get into the middle of the action. I've got some rogue guys coming up, and I can't AFK. My dream is just to be AFK and watch the dungeon just live and breathe on its own. I can't do that because I need a forbidden area, which is something I need to make a note of. It's frame rate's not so good with the recording software, but I'm grabbing them because I don't want them to destroy my spiders. I'm purposely trying to keep the spiders alive because the spiders, okay, I just slapped him. These spiders and these pen pushers and these dragons, the dragons don't go anywhere. They just get stronger and stronger as I get stronger. Pen pushers and pen pushers, they feed in to there's three factions. There's me, the good guys, and then there's NPC monsters, and it's so cool to watch the NPC monsters kill the heroes, the enemy heroes, and it was very, very hard this. So you've got to protect the dungeon heart here. I wish I could zoom out more. The dungeon heart, we've got sentry places and drums, also drums. We've got graveyards. We need graveyards because we get a lot of zombies. More sentry drums. I designed this massive maze so that they could get lost in the maze, and then they'd have to come down this corridor of death with all these traps. I've lost then we've got we've got two massive boulder traps like Indiana Jones. So it was all kind of leading around, so it all funneled them in, and it was hard to begin with to get it all to behave itself. And still got to keep an eye on it so it doesn't, they don't rush through this bit of the maze and kill my nice monsters. I don't mind the zombies because they're not very strong, but these guys, they'll just clobber them. Right, so I've constantly got to keep dragging them and trying to stick them in the patrol area. I've got treasure chest areas. We've got kettle for making the brewery. Just keep checking. I kind of want to see them. They're just going to hit some pen pushers there. And yeah, the reason I'm showing this to you is a living, breathing dungeon, and I'd really like to reach homeostasis or whatever, so that it all equilibrium, so that it all works together in balance. Can't do that. Right, yeah, I've got a prison here that's overcrowded. I need an auto sacrifice, or I need some sort of slaver or something. I've got a whole load of suggestions for the developers of this game. They listened to me last time, so that's cool. Wish they'd pay me. Right, okay, so stick them in here, just funneling them in.
The sacrifice. Okay. The sacrifice didn't coax a single god out of the
Running.
The sacrifice satisfied the gods. The sacrifice didn't coax a single god out of the clouds.
If I get zombies, I'm happy, or brewery barrels. Blue eyes. He's wheeling the beer. I'm getting through a lot of beer. Again, I've got to keep checking. Right. So we've got dragons, we've got spiders, they all funnel in, they go through the maze, they end up through this graveyard. Sometimes my graveyard is awake and sometimes they're asleep, but they don't last very long anyway. Moving in, and then they hit the first sentry drum, and that summons everyone if they're not ready. And at the same time, if they come in through this entrance, there's another graveyard, another sentry drum, and a couple of flaming traps, spinning traps. That's something I'd like to implement in dungeons. I've got my turkey farm. I've got my cryogenics to bring them back from the dead if they do die. I've got these magical box makers, which don't make a lot of boxes. I've got a torture rack. I got for the succubus war kettles. I've got a training arena. Demon
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Place. Space bar. Okay, yeah, they're right. So again, just check. No one's running up this maze. What else we got? We got prison. Another cryogenics. Mana pools. Mana thing. I can't get them to stay there because as soon as the drums beat, they all leave. So that's another thing that I'd like them to change so that you could lock your minions to work. You got standard forge, then you got magic forge, then you got trap making, magic trap making. Have I covered everything? Bedding, sleep, and then you got psychology in this game. So if they don't get enough sleep and food and money, they go on strike, and then they don't fight for you. So you're in real trouble. It's all under control at the moment, so I've just got to keep an eye on here. I don't mind this flow this way. Yeah, and I don't mind that flow either. I think they're going to hit the dragons, which is cool. One of them anyway. They're going back. Oh, there's some heroes. Let's watch a skeletal archer get flamed. I'd really like them to get bigger. Okay. A whole zombie army. And this is an intrepid band of heroes that have come in. And they're getting a whole army of zombies coming at them, which they're dealing with no problem. And behind there's some little quil, small pen pusher, shuriken guys. And again, zoom in.
Heyday.
We've got
Heroes
high
are
priestess
on
is
their way to
here.
one of your islands of evilness.
High priestess and everything. It's all going off. We've got overland. We've got the castles putting a raid on. Oh, I think no. The gunner's going. Masterpiece is going. The cannon's going. This reminds me of Civ Wars on Warcraft 3, where they just get teched up. And I've got my goblins just running past, carrying loot. Okay, so no, they're still. I was going to say that they're weakened, but they don't seem very weakened. The gunners. Oh, yeah, they're pushing. So they're fending it off, these intrepid heroes,
An
but they
island
did.
of evilness is being attacked.
So
The
that's my
enemy
heroes
has
up.
captured one of your islands of evilness.
That's fine. So they're down to 3 now. They should just leave, but they're not going to leave. And that was the monster AI fighting the hero AI, as well as my zombies coming in. They're level 10 zombies, but they're not upgraded. I imagine at some point it's just going to be a relentless stream of them.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
See, whilst they're fighting the zombies, that slows them down, and along come the quil beasts and gank them. And these guys hurt. But these guys will also kill my zombies as well. And we've also got a load of spiders coming, are we? Yeah. So that will put the nail in the coffin for them. Oh, and now I've got all my guys coming now, and these guys will just kick the living hell out of everybody. My vamp's not that great, but it's got ever dying on, so if he does die I get an evil boost. Right, and I've got to now pick them
Enemies
all up,
have entered the dungeon.
or they will destroy my dungeon, which I'll be very sad about. So left click to pick them all up before they... Okay, I don't mind the zombies going. Right, send them all the way back here. We're going to tell him to make magic boxes, and I'm dumping the others here just so they've got to run. Right. And that was a little adventure. And now it's all back again, and they're all just spawning. And let's go to the prison. No, the prison's got a few. Oh, I suppose there they are. So they've all been taken prisoners, so I could then chuck them down the well of the temple to get a gift. And the cycle begins again. There's my overflowing dungeon treasure room. There's the sacrificial pit. And that gives me...
The gods found the sacrifice. Okay.
And if they give me a zombie, I'm happy, because then that builds up into my graveyard, so I get a stronger and stronger zombie army. I can just keep checking. Again. Let's rescue the Naga. Stick her in here. Patrol. Desperately trying to keep control of the AI. And then overground, my hero needs to go and rescue the evil. There's a lot of plates to spin. It's Sim City basically, but for dungeons. And now we're starting to repeat ourselves, and I'm constantly trying to grab any proper guys and stick them, try and control the AI. Okay, so it's zombies versus quil people. Oh, there's a treasure thing there. Oh, I was going to pick it up. There we are. What is it? Armor bonus. Oh, well, I'll just stick it in the treasure pile for now, and I'll come back to it. That's a blessing I could give to one of my guys to make them a bit stronger with the armor. So we've got a whole army of quil beasts and spiders coming in. Good job they don't destroy the buildings. Okay, that's the end of that. Zombie. It's kind of like a fish tank. It's kind of like hypnotic. You know, watch the ecosystem. But I'm very proud of the fact that I've kept
Payday.
the NPCs alive. Okay, space. And I won't go over the tech tree. Just got to stop them running off. Get back in the... Again, just keep checking that tunnel to make sure no one's destroying my dungeon. Okay, so tech tree, and the other thing I have to keep doing is constantly keep upgrading them so they keep ahead of the curve, which is this one now, 502 upgrades. That means that when these monsters, that they can keep fighting these heroes, so the heroes are behind the curve. If the heroes ever get above the curve, then they will just slaughter everyone, and that's the end of the game, because they will just one-shot everyone. And I have got cryo chambers, but that's only if I, for the 1 or 2, I haven't got an army of cryo chambers. And even if I did, even if I had 20 cryo chambers, they would come in, when they get too far ahead of the curve, they will just obliterate everything. So now we've got heroes versus zombies. And another thing this reminds me of is Neverwinter's Nights Airlift server, the Lich King quest, the Lich quest in Scar, where you've got to go through all these things, this maze, to try and get to the Lich. And if you're not careful, and every step you can die. So I mean, they're dispatching level 10 zombies with no problem. So they would obliterate the lower level dungeon. Become more zombies. It's fun. I find it quite fun watching them kill zombies. Building their cannons, and here they come, and then this isn't really that much fun anymore. Just watch you dying unnecessarily. Vampires are far too fragile, but then I haven't upgraded them, so they're just standard level 10, where these are 500 upgrade level 10s. Right, I'm going to save that.
Everything's gone black. Oh, my hood is down. That was a good one.
Funny. No, it wasn't.
What, that gag was stolen?
That was
a surprise.
Rubbish.
Way funnier than the rest.
It's not funny. Right, oh. Save. So I will provide the save games as well. Okay, save. The only interest saved of the save games, the only ones really are the sequential ones, which will probably be the only ones there. Well, there's a secret. Oh, let's load. I don't really want to load, but right. So I've saved it. I've put a load of about 129 minutes in. 139 minutes in was the point at which I conquered this. About 139, yeah. 139 is where it got. I managed to wrestle it into control. And there's all the sequential saves. Then they go out of order. When they're in order, 59, 38, and then from here on you ignore those ones really. There were different attempts because I tried different approaches. I wish I could pause the game or do something to slow it down so I could, because as soon as I get out of this menu system it all kicks off again. But yeah, I tried different approaches, and the approach that I ended up doing was orcs and goblins with an undead graveyard, lots of mazes, and a trapped tunnel to be able to hold them off. And yeah, it was fairly. There's a certain point where you've got to hold it off versus very strong heroes, and it was. I found it hard work. I didn't find it that easy on the hardest mode, but I found it a challenge. So, but the one of the problems is the control system. So like, they just wander off, and they just have one person wander off and die, and you can't afford anyone to die to begin with because you haven't got the money or the resources to deal with it. And especially once they've got to level 6 or something, and you're barely holding off the heroes, and then one of your guys dies, then that's it. You've lost. So and it doesn't help if they just wander off and they don't look after themselves. So anyway, that's just a quick video on Dungeons 3. I really enjoyed it. I had a real blast wrestling it under control, and I think, to make it relevant to the course is the graphics. To be able to make something similar to this would be awesome, and what else? The design of it all. So everything has a sense. You've got to have. I like the light that follows the cursor. That's pretty cool. But you've got a kind of logistics to it. So you've got beds, and you've got guard rooms, and the guards get bored, and you have monsters, and you have food and shelter and drink. And you've got to supply all these needs. So you've got a living, breathing entity. I think that's very cool. Anyway, that's enough for this one.